people that die for the emperor, and cowards that need to be executed by their commissars. Welcome in to a video. Welcome. Hey. Uh, Ignore the McDonald's and Stardies behind me. But welcome in. Why it sucks to be the Emperor of Mankind in 40K lore. Now y'all know that sucks. In general, sucks a lot. You know, it's quite a downer, right? Right, being stuck in a life support chair, being force-fed souls to keep the light, because everybody needs it for a navigation system in the warp. And while being worshipped by billions of people, you're a god even though you pushed on science as your main thing. It kind of sucks. Let's be honest about it. It kind of sucks major down. Okay? It's major unlucky, right? It's kind of like karma in a way, because he has a bad father, considering, you know. But let's see what this video has to hold with us, right?
Universe essentially guarantees pain and suffering.
Yeah.
And the Emperor of Mankind is no exception to this rule.
Oh, for sure.
You may think it's great to be a 12-foot tall space Jesus.
Hell no.
But even he's not immune to the grim darkness of the far future.
I gotta say, right? This is just a thought process. So, it'd be funny, right? If we had... I could envision myself, because you know how the Emperor didn't swoop in until after the collapse, right? Of the AI rebellion. So he basically watched all the shit go down and was probably somewhere out there sleeping on a porch, just looking at us like, nah, they're not ready yet. I'll give them a couple more 100 years, you know? Let them figure it out a little more. Let them sort out the shit.
Even though the Emperor is the main character, he is constantly dealing with bullshit that would make a normal person seek a therapist.
I don't think he's the main character.
Big E literally had to babysit an entire civilization to stop them from killing themselves.
Yeah.
His baby mama called Child Protection Services and had his sons taken away.
That's one way to say
and
it.
He knew about humanity's eventual fall to chaos, but couldn't tell anyone because it'd make it worse. To top it all off, when he finally got his superhuman...
If I get... useless shits. Okay, you know what? This is actually... you know what? Valid criticism, okay? Okay? Fuck Logar, okay? I was gonna say, I know he's a Night Lord guy. I forgot his name. I don't care about him. Angron, I'm both slightly sympathetic because of your situation and your upbringing, but then again, I don't care enough. And Magnus, fucking nerd. Magnus, shut up. Go, you should have hid in the corner. All right, hide in the corner. Conrad Cruz. I wasn't sure if it was Conrad Cruz, but then I was thinking, oh wait, there's also what's his name? I'm trying to remember the name of the one that could turn himself into a crow abomination. And their legion. I know there's the Night Lord, and then there's other ones, which are the... fuck, I forgot their names. But you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, valid criticism, all right? Valid criticism.
Son's back.
Corvus
Most of them were fucking useless.
Yeah.
Some even ended up betraying him.
Yeah.
And his favorite of the bunch literally put him in a coma.
Oh, yeah.
To get an idea of how rough his life was, we have to start from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Big E's birth was relatively normal, aside from the fact that his creation was planned by some crazy shamans high on crystal meth. You see...
As I understand, there is no set theory, or no, there's no set timeline on that. Or not timeline. There's no concrete. There you go. There's no concrete. Oh, I did not mean to put that thing. There's no concrete. What's the word? There's no concrete start. There's only like faint stories and stuff like that, and assumptions about how he was born. But as far as I'm aware, nobody actually knows, and that's because, well, you know, one, nobody from that time is even alive, and two, we don't exactly have a good record for history in that universe. Like, I don't think we do. So yeah. Yeah. 15,000 BC is when Biki was supposed to be born. I know we kind of have an estimated date, but I mean of how he was born. I heard stories where the shamans are the fact, others where it's not a fact. You know, I'm not sure myself. I don't know enough to know which one is real, which one isn't, but I've heard a lot of different ones.
There were some powerful shamans who were aware of the existence of the warp and the evil gods that dwell within it. They figured they'd need someone to fight the chaos deities, so 1,000 of them committed suicide and pulled their souls together to create Space Jesus, aka the Emperor. And so Big E was born. His parents were regular-ass humans that were part of the first tribes in modern-day Turkey. Growing up, he was pretty normal, until one day his father was murdered.
Damn, that's
At the
unfortunate.
funeral, the Emperor unlocks the Jedi mind force and finds out his uncle was the culprit. Using these same
that's
powers,
crazy.
he
He's gonna
stops
kill
his
him.
uncle's heart with his mind. After that, he knows he's special and different. He realizes that these violent apes require a leader to lead them to the promised land.
Hey, yo!
So he nominates himself and starts gathering other immortal beings known as perpetuals.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, he meets his future baby mama, Erda, and his best friend for life, Malkador.
There's a man, Malkador.
The Emperor was pretty active in ancient history.
Malkador is somebody I would not want as a friend. Why? He's just creepy as shit. Okay? He's done some horrible things that I do not want to be associated with. Alright? Don't get along with the man. If you get along with Malkador a little bit too much, he might clone you, okay? And you don't want to know what's gonna happen to that clone. Alright? It's about to be Groundhog Day for him, okay?
Fighting or leading in many wars. Eventually, he encounters the Void Dragon,
yes,
which
a
is a
shard
piece
of,
of a literal alien god.
Yeah, what's it called?
Nobody knows
Catan,
why the dragon
I think?
was on Terra, but legend has it the Emperor fought it somewhere in modern-day Libya. He managed to defeat it, but could not kill it.
If I remember right, this is just a shard. This is a shard of the god. It's not actual, the whole thing. So, you can only imagine how strong the actual Catan were, if I remember right. I'm sorry if I'm butchering names.
At some point, he travels to Mars and
Yeah,
imprisons
there
the
it
Void
is.
Dragon under the planet. Eventually, he just disappears off the face of the Earth. During his vacation, he takes one too many acid trips and foresees humanity's destruction and the existence of the warp and chaos gods. But he couldn't tell
Regarding the
anyone.
redacted,
You see,
yeah.
humans are greedy and lustful bastards. Imagine if you told humanity that there are extra-dimensional beings that can bless you with incredible power and immortality if you join them. You can bet your ass there will be some idiots that sign up for it. This is the first reason it sucked to be Big E. He shouldered this entire burden because if he let this secret slip...
It's not even about they would turn, okay? That's not even the issue. In a way, telling them about it, right? Just gives the chaos more power. You know, being conscious about it kind of just feeds them, you know? it kind of does more damage knowing than not knowing. So yeah, he's in a predicament.
Most of humanity would turn against their brethren. He could only fight behind closed doors. Some might say he was an asshole for not letting them know, but his choice was the lesser of two evils.
Yes, it was.
Anyway, Big E continues his life, taking different names throughout history.
Rome.
Once he was known as Alexander the Great. Another time he was Marilyn Monroe. He was even some guy named Elon Musk once.
Okay, you're
Then
taking the
these
piss.
idiotic monkeys
You're
start
taking the
thriving
piss.
and reach a point of
Yes.
critical mass.
I was about to say, no way this is lore. Not that I don't like any of them. I love all of them, alright? Ooh, somebody might say something because of that. I'm fine. I like hate speech. I like hate comments anyways. But I'm assuming, you know, they didn't write that down.
This was known as the Age of Technology, where humans discovered warp travel,
Yeah.
allowing them to colonize space. Humans also start evolving and developed psychic abilities.
Yep.
Just
When
a
shit
bit
goes
before the
crazy.
discovery of warp travel, the Emperor left Earth on an economy-class ticket to the planet Molech. There, he discovered an entryway into the realm of chaos. Big E proceeded to have a board meeting with the four gods, and they struck up a deal. They would buff him to deity-like status and give him the knowledge to create his super sons, the Primarchs. In return, Big E would have to spread chaos to humanity like it was COVID. Obviously, the Emperor never held up his end of the bargain. Once he got what he wanted...
Wait a minute. I don't remember that. I do not remember that. I don't... Is that lore? That doesn't feel like lore. Wait a minute. Chat. Am I dumb? I don't remember that being part of the lore. What? I'm confused. Chat, yo, chat or comments. Let me know about that. I want entire. I need paragraphs. I need entire paragraph. I need entire paragraph type of responses down in the comments. All right. I do not remember that. I need the whole story. All right. Comments, get at it. All right. I need that.
He told the Chaos Gods to piss off. Meanwhile, on Terra, the stupid apes fuck up again. The evolved X-Men were indirectly inviting demonic incursions each time they used their psychic powers and corrupting entire planets. And then, the beloved AI that humans developed went full Skynet, making ChatGPT turn against humanity and vaporizing billions in what was known as the Cybernetic Revolt. This is the second reason it sucked to be the Emperor. He was now stronger than ever after visiting Molech, but he was still helpless and couldn't assist humanity. He was most likely still on his way back from his trip. And yeah, he could see the future, but not really in the way you think. It's more like he could see 100 different futures, with 100 different paths to reach it. How you reach it, and which future it is, would be impossible to determine. There's no way Big E could have predicted the Age of Strife. Regardless of all this, humanity still eventually did win, but at a huge cost. You see, what was left of civilization on Terra was just apocalyptic scraps of a fallen empire.
Yep.
And the surviving human colonies in deep space were weakened and isolated from Terra, so they were prime targets for Xenos or demons.
Yep.
This is where the Emperor could finally be Space Jesus. He revealed himself as the savior of humanity.
Thunder
and with
Warriors!
his huge army of Thunder Warriors that he developed through his eugenics program, he waged war to unify the fragmented tribes of Terra.
I do know about.
But this was just the beginning. He knew he needed to reconquer all the lost worlds to have a united front against future enemies.
Two of my favorite stories here, for sure. One is watching the entire story from the perspective of that one rebel. Oh wait, never mind. They're both the same. Sorry, misremembering. The preacher. Yeah, him talking to the preacher as he burns the last church down. Now that was a good story. That was an awesome story. Now that was peak writing.
Enemies. This project would be called the Great Crusade. And to accomplish this goal, his mentally unstable Thunder Warriors weren't going to cut it. So, the Emperor needed a contingency plan. After mixing DNA with his baby mama, Erda, they ended up creating 20 sons in his image. They were called the Primarchs, and would eventually grow up to be powerful generals that would lead his armies. But, as in all great cosmic dramas, co-parenting proved to be a nightmare. See, the Emperor decided Erda was no longer needed, so he divorced her from the family tree. Furious at his plans to turn their sons into war machines for galactic conquest, Erda took drastic action. She summoned a warp vortex to yeet the Primarchs across the galaxy in a...
See, this is again part of the thing. I don't remember this being a thing at all. As far as I understand, right? The warp gods, as far as from my understanding, right? From what I've heard, the warp gods found out what he was doing, said, fuck no, put him up for adoption, and sent them off where they were got teleported to different planets all over the galaxy. And that's where he started his crusade to reclaim his sons, as far as I'm aware, as far as I understand. So this is kind of confusing me a bit, but we'll roll with this.
A last-ditch effort to save them, then disappeared
like,
without
maybe
a
I'm
trace.
the problem. Maybe I'm misinformed.
There goes Plan A. This is the third reason it sucked to be the Emperor. The women he trusted most in the world betrayed him, and he literally lost 20 of his sons to the depths of deep, dark space.
18 sons.
All his life, he wanted a family. And now all he had left was his ashy and wrinkly best friend.
Okay, now. You know
Luckily,
what? Actually, never mind.
there was a Plan B.
He deserves it.
He still had genetic material from his Primarchs, so Big E used that to create the warriors known as the Space Marines. The issue was the Emperor still had the Thunder Warriors. Now, you obviously can't have the old employees mixing with the new hires, so the Emperor did what any other great CEO would. He laid them off. But instead of collecting unemployment benefits, the Thunder Warriors were buried 6 foot underground. Anyway, with his new super soldiers, Big E hops on a ship and goes on a great crusade. His goal was to claim back every human world, from pretenders or aliens. It was essentially a space genocide, forcing every human colony to bend the knee and convert to the imperial truth or face annihilation.
Yes, the Kriegmen.
Along the way, he rediscovers his lost Primarchs. He always knew his sons were alive somewhere because he could hear them faintly through the warp.
We have the two...
Of the 20 sons the Emperor handcrafted...
We have the two polar opposites right here, right? We got Based Vulcan. We have PowerPoint Excel. Here. Girly Man. Xeno Lover. Girly Man. We have the biggest disappointment ever. And then we have Kinky Excel personified.
Them faintly through the warp.
Oh, various
Of the
tastes.
20 sons the Emperor handcrafted, 2 were straight up dead. As for the rest, oh, they were a work in progress.
That's one way to put it.
Kurz, he was a walking PSA for psychological counseling. He was a schizophrenic sadist who thought murdering entire populations counted as art therapy. Magnus, he was arrogant and wouldn't shut the fuck up about how he did nothing wrong. Fulgrim was so in love with himself, I'm surprised he didn't marry a mirror. Lorgar was a religious nut. Perturabo was the galaxy's grumpiest goth with an inferiority complex.
Oh, for sure.
Meanwhile, Mortarion and Angron were so consumed by daddy issues that forgiving anyone, including themselves, was a concept more alien than a Terranid invasion. And then there's Horus, who decided ambition was a personality trait and ran with it. The Lion? He was too prideful, moody, and unforgiving. Ferris? Poor guy couldn't quite keep a good head on his shoulders. The Khan was indecisive.
I was about to say that. I was like, he wasn't. I was gonna make a fucking. He had a good head on him though.
Had commitment issues and allergic to any kind of group chat. Vulcan was so self-sacrificing, it's a miracle he didn't build a campfire and jump into it for fun. Dorn, a stubborn old bastard that would never think outside the box. Russ,
he's a stickler to the rules.
Simultaneously the most obedient golden retriever and the most impulsive bull. Sanguinius was too sensitive for this world. And Gilliman?
Bro, my boy Sanguinius. My boy Sanguinius didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it. Sanguinius. He was too good. Hey, he was the emperor for like 20 minutes though. You know? He did become the new Big E for like 20 minutes.
So annoyingly modest. You'd swear he's running a PR campaign called I'm Just a Chill Guy.
And he is though.
And finally, Alfarius and Corax. Good luck finding them. One's hiding, and the other's so emo he disappeared into his own shadow. This was the 4th reason it absolutely sucked to be the Emperor. He had kids, but they were dysfunctional. And the best part was Big E knew. He knew these kids were disasters waiting to happen, which is why he kept chaos a big, fat secret. He figured if he told them about the warp, they'd immediately start poking around and eventually be tempted by the ruinous powers. Joke's on him, though. Some of them still fell to chaos anyway.
Oh yeah, half of them.
Turns out, when you make a bunch of overpowered demigods with unresolved trauma and no parental guidance, the ruinous powers don't have to try very hard to sell their free gifts with corruption package. And some of these Primarchs really bought into the cosmic sales pitch. Okay. In particular, Horus Lupercal was the most ambitious fuck out there. He kicked off the Horus heresy because he figured he'd make a better space Jesus. Horus even talked some of his brothers into swapping sides with promises of better work benefits. But Magnus the Arrogant, he didn't need much sweet talking.
You got dental
but
with
he wasn't
that?
Always the bad guy. You see, early on he found out about Horus's scheme and decided to snitch to Big E. But as usual, Magnus couldn't do anything right. Instead of a simple text message, he Kool-Aid manned straight through.
I was about to say, it's not about he never did anything wrong. It's that he's never done anything right. My boy cannot succeed in life.
The webway trashed the Golden Throne, which was basically the Emperor's space Lambo,
and then he fucked everything up
when it all went to hell. He was so scared of being scolded that he ran like a bitch and never told Big E about
He
the attempted
deserves it.
coup.
He's a nerd.
Naturally, Big E sent the Space Wolves to bring him back. Magnus, wallowing in guilt,
Yeah, they were supposed to bring him back, but for some reason the warp shenanigans said, you know what, actually, kill them.
ghosted everyone, shut off his comms, and decided his screw-up meant the Thousand Sons had to pay the ultimate price. With Magnus on airplane mode, Lehman Russ took it as a kill-on-sight order after Horus hacked his iPhone. The result was Prospero burning, Magnus getting wrecked in a duel, and his soul shattered into pieces.
Yeah, that
Magnus thinks
backbreaker.
he's beyond redemption in the eyes of the Emperor and ultimately turns to chaos. Anyway, the rebellion is in full swing. Some Primarchs die, hundreds of thousands of Space Marines die, billions of humans die. The Emperor eventually kills his traitorous son Horus, but it comes at a huge cost. This is the 5th reason it sucked to be the Emperor. He tried his best to give his sons as many chances to succeed as possible, but the ungrateful bastards spat in his face. Some ended up getting murdered. Some turned into demon princes.
I ain't gonna lie, this is very one-sided. This is a very one-sided video, okay? Alright, it is the biggest Big E did nothing wrong type video. Nah, he was the father that did not step up, I'll tell you that, alright? I'll tell you that. My man, let me just say, he is not a good example. He's a good leader, maybe, but I don't think about a good father.
And some just disappeared altogether. All he got as a reward was to be the most overqualified life support patient, permanently welded to the golden throne. The 6th and final reason it sucked to be the Emperor is even though he was the most powerful human psyker, could see parts of the future and had legit plot armor, he still couldn't save his sons or humanity. At best, he stalled the impending doom of the human race at the costs of trillions of lives. You just can't win in the grim dark universe of 40K. That concludes today's episode. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment below on what fact.
Okay, that was that. I felt like this video was very one-sided. Here, let me I need to look at these comments. Give me a second. Oh, the wise can be out of touch with humanity to a degree. No matter what he does, it's never the right thing because he's going to piss someone off, and that's gonna cause a cascading effect of problems. Ah, yeah. Big E, a problem has arisen. I'm to come up with a solution with my superhuman brain. Spins a wheel labeled autocracy, genocide, or eugenics. After doing this 10 million times. Oh god, why is that everything falling apart? I mean, honestly. Oh my god, I'm not. I don't know how I feel about this video, but it's funny. It's funny. Anyways, that's been my reaction. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will catch you guys later. Okay, YouTube. Bye bye.